Hi everyone! In this video I will show you how to do single crochets. So let's start with making single crochets, but first I will do a short repeat of what we did in the previous video, and that is by making a chain. And I will do a pattern with 12 single crochets. So first we will make the slip knot, and I will go fast, so if you need to repeat that, then please watch that first video. And well, I have put it on my hook, and then I grab my yarn, and then I will do 12 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And in this video I will do the single crochets the traditional way, let's put it that way, and we will work into the top loops here. You can also work in the bottom loop and in the back loop, but I will have an extra video for that to show you the differences. And well, for now let's do it this way. And in the previous video I also told you about the turning chains. Now we will do a single crochet, and that needs one turning chain. So here we have it. And when you have written instructions for your project, you will see that if you have to do a single crochet, that you work into the second chain from your hook. Well, like I said in the previous video, you never count the chain that is on your hook. This is the first and this is the second, so we will work into that, and we will insert our hook here, and we go under the yarn and pick it up like we did with the chains, and we pull it through. And don't pull it very high and don't make it super tight, just yeah, like this. And then again we wrap the yarn around our hook and we pull it through both loops, and that is our very first single crochet here. And well, let's do the next one. So I will put the yarn back on my hand again. We just worked into this loop, and now we go to the next loop. So we put it on our hook, we go under the yarn, we turn our hook, pick the yarn up, pull it through that loop, and now we have 2 loops on our hook, and then again go under the yarn, pick it up and pull it through 2. Well, let's examine that again. We have now done 2 single crochets. You see here we have the 2 V shapes here on our project. And when you start and doing this, and if you're having difficulty to see which is the last stitch when you work back, because we will finish this row that way, and then we will turn and go that way. Now you can see here that this is your last stitch. It is very helpful. I have seen so many new crocheters, and then they post on Facebook that they have all of a sudden more stitches, less stitches. Well, this is how you can prevent that. So another thing, by the way, that I would like to show you. In the beginning it can be a bit confusing where to work into, you know. You will start learning to see it, but suppose you are a bit confused where your next loop is, where that you have to work into, then just give your last stitch that you did a little tug so that you can see clearly that this is the yarn that you, of the opening that you worked into. So then you can see, oh, this is the next one. You know, with this thick yarn, and I really would advise you to work with thick yarn in the beginning so that you can really see what you're doing, and then later on you can switch on to finer yarns. So well, now we will work into this stitch. You see I sometimes help it with my thumb a little bit to get it on my hook. So this is number 3, and I will continue this, doing it a bit slowly. Also pay attention to the movement of my hand. It's just working your hand together to get the easiest way of working. So again, pick up that loop of your foundation chain, take up that loop and wrap and pull through 2, wrap and pull through 1, wrap and pull through 2. Well, again, let's do some counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can easily count these V shapes on top. This is number 6. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, there's also something that I mentioned in the first video. If you're having trouble identifying which is the last stitch of your foundation chain, then put also a stitch marker into that first stitch of your foundation chain, so you can identify that last stitch, so that you do not get confused about the slip knot here. Well, we have done our last stitch here, and now we will turn our work like this. So simply flip it over like this. And now at the start of our next row, we first do a turning chain. Well, if you look at the top, this is how it looks. So this here next to our loop on our hook is the turning chain, and this is the stitch that we will work into. So we will turn it back, and when you look at it, you see that slight these horizontal stripes here, and then next to it you see kind of an opening here, and this is where I insert my hook. And if I do this, you will see that both legs of the stitch are on my hook. So we pick up the yarn again here, pull it through the stitch, and then we finish our stitch again. So this is number 1. Again, here is that horizontal loop, here is that opening to the left, and pull this yarn up. So let's see how this looks from the top. We see that we have done 2 single crochets, And let's mark that first single crochet again, so that if you have work back in the next row, that you know where to do your last stitch. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and here we have our stitch marker, so we know that that is the last stitch on this row, and work into that, pick up both legs of the V shape, and then we are done with our second row. And let's turn it over here. And well, we will also pay some attention to counting your rows. This is the front side, here where the end of your yarn is on this side. 1 row, 2 rows. Well, I will show later how it looks when it gets a little bit bigger. And then again, we start with a turning chain and we work into that first single crochet stitch of the previous row, or it's the last stitch of the previous row. And well, I've now done 3. You see here 1, 2, 3, and here if you it's a matter of learning how to look at your stitches. If you don't want to use stitch markers, then this is how it looks. Here we have these 3 V shapes on top, and here you have that vertical piece of yarn. So let's put that marker into this, and I also want to mention a little bit about working into these loops. Well, now I will first finish this row so that I can talk about it later. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then the last one of this row, 12. So you see, we have now done 1, 2, 3 rows. When you are crocheting, and let's show it this way, we work into these holes so that we pick up both legs. A single crochet, when it's drawn in a chart, you will see a plus sign or an X. An X is actually a plus sign that is turned a little bit. And that you will see that if you have kind of curves, and then you have a plus sign on top, and then you see the plus sign a little bit rotated and a little bit rotated more, a little bit rotated more, and then it becomes an X. So that is why I mentioned that it can also be an X. But it's a plus sign in the chart. If you have to work into just this loop or into just this loop, that will give you a slightly different look of your stitches, and your chart has to show that to you, because in the charts you have the plus sign with a little curve under it, like this or like this. And if you just have written directions, it should also mention that in which loop you have to work. So if nothing is mentioned about it, then this is the standard way to do it. So so that is also important. And well, shall we do just one more row, and then I will show you a couple of other things. So the turning chain, and then again here, work into that first, and then we will finish this row 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and take this out. This is number 12. So when you look here at the front again, if you have to remember what the front is and you have trouble remembering that, then take a stitch marker and just place it into the front here. So let's close it so we don't lose it. Well, you see, it's a very fun pattern. And again, if we look at our rows, this is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, this is 4. And sometimes it really helps to pay attention to these little bumps here. And I have a bigger sample here. And well, let's show it here. 1, 2, you see here that little bump here and that little bump here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can also just count the bumps, and that is 2 rows. So this was number 6, 8, 10, 12. Then I would like to, I think that I have said everything about doing single crochets kind of the traditional ways. And I will also show you a couple of things more, and one of this is using colors. This is a very fun swatch and very nice to use up your stash. Here I've done 1 row in blue, and then back with a row in yellow, and then back with red, back in purple, orange, and then again I started over with blue. This is a trick. If you use an odd number of colors, then you can take up your yarn along the sides, so that you don't have to cut off your yarn. And well, finishing yarns and switching colors, I will show that in another video. So yeah, you see that is very colorful, so that's for inspiration. And you can make some bolder stripes by doing, for example, 2 rows. So this is the foundation chain, and then 2 rows of blue, 2 rows of yellow, 2 rows of red, 2 rows of purple, 2 rows of orange, light blue, and here I have my yarns. And if I would have started over with the blue one again, I could have led it through the side, but working with colors and how to do that the best, is for another video. So that's for inspiration, and then there's another thing that I also want to show you, and that also will be in another video, and that is this. You see here on this swatch you have these little bumps on the side, and here I have an example where this is also just single crochets and where you have much neater side, and I will also show you that in another video. And well, finishing your project is also something that I will show you in a different video. So see you back then.